Okay, so welcome to Heartwidth, calling in community weaving. What is community? If you are watching this for the first time, I believe it's crucial that we be very clear when throwing around this word because so much real harm can be done when we use it, and that's not what we mean. And that's not a problem. It's just, I believe this path calls us to clarity. So, as a retired preschool teacher, let's do it. This is association. And we can associate and do stuff and it's great. We can do wonderful things in association. You know, like you can go to work and I leave my house, you leave your house, and we go to a place and we work. Or, you turn on your Zoom link, I turn on my Zoom link, and we go somewhere and we can do good things. But it's not community. This is community. I personally believe it's very difficult to practice the Dharma in association because for those of you who care about such things, there was this guy that followed Buddha around, and he would occasionally ask, what's important? Is like Sangha important? Community is important? And the Buddha is reported to have said it's everything. They were talking about this. They were not talking about this. A lot of beautiful things you can do in association. I believe it's very hard to practice in association because you by yourself, with other people by themselves. This, in preschool teacher parlance, is parallel practice. If somebody isn't clear what that is, it can look like two children playing together. It can look like, oh, look at them playing together. They're not playing together. I got my toys, you got your toys, and we just happen to be sitting together. And it's a developmental jump when a child can play with another child. Similarly, it's a jump in the practice to go from I'm sitting 45 minutes a day by myself. I'm getting on a plane by myself, going to temples by myself, to be the teachers by myself. It's you by yourself. But the Buddha also said that delusion of separation, the belief that you can be on this path and be by yourself, in fact, seem to do better by yourself, is delusional. There is an anonymous wisdom off the continent of Africa that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. So Heartwidth is explicitly saying, we about that life. We are about that life. So what does that mean? Well, for many of us, at the speed of trust, because I know many of you have gone through so much. You're not trying to let people know where you live, your phone number. Life has taught you some rough lessons. But we're calling in the development of that trust that if we don't see Laura or we don't see Eric, I got a phone number. I was so curious about that as I began this journey. In fact, I wrote about it, that you can sit next to people from 10, 15 years. I'm on the bus, they in the car, because, and then George Floyd happened. And at the end of the article, I said, but you can't call me Because you don't have my phone number. What does it mean to be on this path? And you've been with people and you shared your heart and told us all your business, and I don't have your phone number. I don't know. I'm not saying everybody needs to have your phone number right away, but that's what we're calling in here. Trust, trust. And we're all grown. So everybody's here's had their heart broken, been lied to, have done some lying, have hurt some people, been hurt by people. We've so I'm always curious, why do we leave that wealth of experience and come into this space and I want you to make me safe? Heart width is not offering safety. It is a place where people who are choosing to be free as best they can, but choosing to be free with other people who are choosing to be free. Which brings me to tonight's topic, authenticity. I know that many of us have been fed, even since we were little children. If you want to be with me, you can't be with you. You can't be who you are if you want to be connected. That is a deep, deep training, not just code switching that most Black people learn. Okay, let's go to parentheses. For Black people, we are trained, many of us, I know of my generation, you have your work voice and you have your voice with your people. And your work voice moves up into your head, into your nose, and you begin to talk like this. And that also does something to your brain, I believe, of you're not speaking from you're speaking from this nasal place that is not where you speak, but you're speaking this way because this is standard English and you want a job because you want to survive. The reason the delusion of separation is delusional because for those of you who are racialized as white, AKA raw, the same thing has been done to you. The same thing has been done to you. And so, in Heart With, a hearty group of people, we are choosing to support each other to be our true ass selves. And we are calling in the capacity that we can be with our true ass selves and we can be with your true ass selves. There are no pearl clutchers here. If you like to clutch your pearls, everything is not for everybody. In parentheses, pearl clutchers in the vernacular I grew up in are people, well, women. And you'll say something like, you know, girl, I got drunk and I went home with whatever, whoever, situation. And they'll go, oh, I just don't understand how you did that. How could you? Okay. Pearl clutchers who have also been indoctrinating with, they've got to clutch their pearls because I can't acknowledge that me too. Even if I didn't do that exact thing, I did some stuff. So authenticity is necessary to practice, much less practice in community. This is not easy. We have been trained. Gabor Mate in the book, The Myth of Normal, talks about attachment versus authenticity, even as babies, and young children. I learned, I think you learned, if you wanted to get attention, I have to show up a kind of way. I can't be a crybaby. I know folks that literally got whipped. I'll give you something to cry about. You can't be too sensitive. Depending on where you lived, I grew up in apartments, you got to learn how to be quiet. Lord help me, I used to brag to a therapist. When I was 5 years old, you could put me in a room full of glass and nothing would be broken. And I rolled with that as just, I was just so special. Until a therapist got a hold of me one year and said, 5-year-olds aren't supposed to do that, sweetie. You shouldn't be able to put a 5-year-old in a room full of glass and nothing get broken. Oh, so some things I had been trained up out of my developmental stage. And many of us are trained out of our developmental stage, which is where we're supposed to be learning and connecting to our authentic self. Why are you talking about this, Aisha? Because if you can't be with you, you can't be with me. I will continue to tell on myself. Because I'm sure I'm the only one that was fake going into the relationship and got mad because this person could not see through my fakeness. And then I left the relationship because they did not see through my fakeness. But it was okay because I couldn't see through their fakeness either. It was a win-win. And continue to improve my fakeness as I moved to another relationship where the person could not see through my fakeness. And I'm unhappy. Within my family, a number of Black families, you have that very, very light-skinned member of the family. In my family, and I didn't even know her, but they were still mourning her, who went to New York to pass for white. But like so many things coming out of my lineage, there's deep, deep dharmic lessons because many of us are passing. We not passing for white, but we pass. In my journey and what spirit has given me, the Dharma doesn't say don't be skillful, because I'm not going to pay your bills, and nobody here has got it like that. It says to be skillful, but skillful does not mean to be inauthentic. And that's that choice that I was given. That if you want a job, you're going to talk through your nose and give yourself a headache. You're going to, you're going to maybe move a certain way, particularly for gay men, my femme sweeties. I got a nephew of my heart and he was born with a lisp. And I'm acquainted with men who people maybe tried to beat the lisp out of them. So I'm calling this calling in community because I believe we have to call that in for ourselves. And depending on the level of your training, you may be grown and still on that discovery. Who is your authentic self? Because you've been trained. You know, it's anybody, one of my favorite movies, The Shawshank Redemption, you know, and the one guy had been so long and they finally let him out after he was old, but he was so institutionalized, he couldn't make it out in the free world. It was too much for him. And then the character Morgan Freeman plays got out and he was telling his manager when he needed to go to the bathroom and just, and I've had that behavior. I didn't necessarily tell people, but I've been checking to see who's checking on me, who's checking on, that hyper vigilance. And then in the movie, a wonderful line, he says, get busy living or get busy dying. In dharmic terms, get busy being present, you know, to the pain of life or get busy suffering. Because that teaching, certainly that a lot of Black families give their children because they know what awaits them. It would seem to be better to just close your legs than to say, you are a little Black girl and people think you sexual at 8. So I'm having you do these things because it's not safe for you. I'm not going to tell you that. I'm going to say, close your legs. Now I figure like my legs are messed up. I got to close my legs, So causing suffering to not deal with pain. So community. Why is it crucial? Because how can we develop discernment by ourselves, by our being inauthentic? Well, I'm gonna get mad with community because I was inauthentic and they didn't see through that. That sounds like something I did for a couple of centuries. I'm gonna be mad with you because you're supposed to know that I'm not really this. You're supposed to see through it. And I think that's a cruel thing, particularly to do to the global majority, and particularly for Black women, to give us another layer of work. I don't think that's right. I think, that's funky. So community, as we are imagining and reimagining, is the calling in. Who would you be if you knew nothing was wrong with you? Nothing. Not nothing. Not even that. Not even that either. I know you did it. Not even that. If you knew that no one would hurt you, how would you be? It is a harsh and terrible thing many of us went through as children. sometimes with people who loved us, who was doing their best, trying to keep us safe, and sometimes with people that didn't love us. And then we left home and grew up, and it seemed like the more inauthentic we were, the more we got rewarded. And then when we tried to be authentic a little bit, you crazy, you're a problem at work. What is wrong with you? So let's do a little practice, maybe 15 minutes or so, of just calling in enoughness. Lamarad has the 7 homecomings. I'm going to give him 8. And calling in enoughness. And perhaps getting as comfortable as you want to be. Maybe discovering where your breath is. I've gone days and felt like I was holding my breath. So just gently finding your breath. Where is it? Perhaps it's in your belly. In your chest. Perhaps it's the sensation that moves in and out of your nose. Taking a few moments to just find out where it is and how it is. Maybe it's short and sharp. Maybe it's long and deep. And just allowing it to be how it is. And as the thoughts come, exercising your choice to gently bring your awareness back to your breath. Perhaps bringing to mind yourself as a child, if that is skillful to do so. Or perhaps in this moment, and bringing that being top of mind, and inviting in the energy of enoughness. It might be a small pearl of light. It might be a rainbow. But calling in this energy, whatever you call in, it will be the right thing. There's no errors. And if you can't even approach that, just breathe and say enough, enough. What color is it? What is it swirling around you? Or is it gentle as a blanket? Whatever it is for you, maybe it's swaddling you like a baby, giving you warmth. Maybe it's just a sense of warmth in the body. But whatever it is, being with that embodied sense of enoughness, letting it sink in into your pores, taking it in, that care, those lights, that warmth. And when the thoughts come, choosing to return to this energy of enoughness. Letting it be, letting yourself be nourished by it. Letting it pour in every cell of your body, moving through the skin, the bones, the muscles, all into the cells. Enoughness. Letting it circulate like blood around your body. Enoughness. Touching your feet, your ankles, your shin, the knees, the thighs, your pelvic area, your belly, your chest, shoulders, arms, the throat, mouth, the nose, the eyeballs, the eye sockets. Let it soak into that third eye that already knows. Moving around your head, down your back. Let that enoughness course through you. It finds no wrongness. finds no error. Fighting your body to pulsate in the rhythm of enoughness, your enoughness. Continuing to stay with the practice. Trusting your enoughness. Staying here for just a few more moments. A few more moments. When you are ready, you might open your eyes, move your body. Thank you for your practice. And I'll play some music. Pause right now. Look at that. Look at God when she do it. Okay. So before turning the space over to you, I want to recognize how difficult this is, particularly for people who are smart, who have been valued for their smartness. They're, as I tell people, this path is not for the smart, it's for the courageous. So that means you was a university student over there, you got all the letters, and now you in elementary school sitting in desks that are too small for you. And that's, this is rough on the ego, particularly if you've lived a life where you have been appreciated for the neck up. This is a rough path for that. So it can invite shame. It can invite so much shame. But why don't I know? And how come? Another unattributed but very powerful wisdom from the continent of Africa. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the second best time is now. And that's what I think you're here. Spirit brought you here. We all had all these places to go. If nothing else, in our own minds, by ourselves. So there is a pull inside you. And in Heartwidth, we just want to support each other. You leaning in and say, "Come on in." We're not gonna grab you. It's your pull. But just I see you leaning. I notice you leaning. You wanna come on camera a little bit more. That's the invitation. Because if we can't do it with each other, where are we gonna do it? And of course, that requires trust. And some of us, it has been beat out of us, it has been shamed out of us, because we trusted and we paid a price. But that's the price of the ticket. I mean, you know, I'm like that auntie. I'm not gonna lie to you and say, and then it's gonna be happy ever after. It's not gonna necessarily. It's gonna be happy for a while, and then it's gonna be sad and tragic, and. But this path does offer, at least in my experience, access to tremendous joy, as well as tremendous heartbreak. And that's what a gift it is to be a human being. If we allow ourselves, we can be with what we know. If we allow ourselves. And if not this lifetime, give it another go. That's the cool part of this. It's like, yeah, okay, baby, you got the answer on that. Come on back to class. So there's no shame involved. I will share this hadith from Islam, hadith traditions. There was this man, he was a bad man, robber, murderer, did all the things. But he started going to wise men and he said, "Look, can I change?" They said, "No." So he killed him. "Can I change?" No. And he killed 99. He said, "Yeah, there's nothing. You hopeless." And he finally got to that 100th wise man. And he said, can I change? He said, yes, but you'll have to leave this place. You'll have to leave. And then he moved the gates, got a few feet from the gate of the town and dropped dead. And so, you know, shaitans, demons came up to retrieve the soul, and Allah's angels came. And the demons said, what you doing here? This is our guy. And the angels say, well, if he was closer to where he was going to than where he was coming from, then we will take his soul. And the demon said, he just got a couple of feet off town. Okay, okay, okay. But Allah bends the earth in such a way that he is closer to where he is going than where he was coming from. The Muslims believe, and I do too, that no one is outside of the mercy of Allah. We idolize Harriet Tubman because she made it. But there were those on the road with her that did not make it. The dogs got them. They were beaten, lynched, mutilated, whatever, taken back. But they were closer to freedom than they were to slavery. That's the point of this journey for me. I'm closer to that freedom, that divine light than I was for that frightened little girl, that frightened teenager, that frightened woman. So much pretending. How am I going to be with you if I can't be with me? From a preschool teacher perspective, parallel play looks really neat because I have my stuff and you have your stuff. And you don't have to do too much cleaning up when children just have their individual things. And the practice is like that. It can look so neat by ourselves, but when we're playing together, cooking together, it can get messy as hell. But that is developmentally appropriate for those that are growing. Thank you so much for choosing to be here as we call in authenticity and into community. Aisha bowing out. And now I would like to call in your voices as you will or may. And please know that we have curated a culture that will support whatever you might bring and will not judge.
I'd just like to thank God for you, Miss Aisha, for your whole lineage, all of your ancestors, and everything you're making possible for future generations. And you blessed the hell out of me just now. Thank you. And God bless Heartwidth.
Thank you, babe.
Astrid Bellingham. Thank you, Mama Isha, for the permission and the blessings. Mm. Yeah. Um, yeah, this morning I walked in late to a Pilates class, and the look that I got from the Karen who was teaching it was like, are you seriously coming in now? Like it was like daggers. And I'm like, yeah. I mean, she basically, I mean, she's super chatty, but she complete, I mean, normally, like she'll, she's talking about her daughter and the movie she saw last week and, like the new restaurant down the road and like, and her class is like fun, but she did not even glance at me. Did not even, it was no word. Yeah. I think I asked something about something in like Ottawa, and she's like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Wow!" And yeah, the other day I went to see that new movie, kind of a comedy, The American Society of Magical Negroes, and it's kind of a satire, but some serious, serious themes in there. Um, and messages for everybody. Um, and so, yeah, I kind of was hoping. I mean, I saw an interview and uh, the star who was like mixed heritage, like Black father. Um, he's like, yeah, I still have to catch myself performing for white folks and like contorting and kind of, being controlled by white supremacy to just like make them feel comfortable. And so that made me very, that even he, falls back into patterns like that. So yeah, I could feel the urge today to please and appease. And I was really angry at myself, actually. I was really angry at myself for like, oh my God, it's still there. It's like, oh, the pattern is still there. So I think my face must have looked like thunder through the whole thing. And yeah, I mean, I suppose I was angry at both of us, but probably, it's probably not a helpful thing considering like we're both socialized into generations of this. Um, yeah, and I was already feeling like super tender this morning, and I kind of thought, wait a minute,
Mm.
I was already like vulnerable, and then this happens.
Mm.
Then it's like, and then I'm questioning why I'm feeling so out of it and sort of like isolated and like I have no one and there's nobody and and it's like, well, of course you did. Of course you would feel like that. So but it was like, oh yeah, it took me like hours to figure out why I was so like off kilter today. So yeah. And I don't like for me, I don't think it's a question of being authentic or not. It's just kind of like a continuum. It's like, okay, can I recognize this, you know, and can I recognize it in the moment or, and it's okay to recognize it afterwards. But, you know, um, it's kind of progress, not perfection.
Mhm.
So yeah, thank you.
Mm.
Lower bowing in. I just want to share for my sibling raw rice cake snow Americans that are here today, and all of those out in the ether that may hear this someday. It's like, this whole concept of safety, who knows where it started, who knows where its origins are, but if you're in North America, particularly in the United States, it's a construct that was developed around separating people so that some could think they were safe, particularly if they conspired or at least turned a blind eye towards the victimization of others. And this lie has been sold based on the concept of what a person deserves. Like, well, you deserve to be safe a little bit more. And none of this lives in the body. None of this lives in the body. And this is how it manifests today in Karens who don't know how to be safe. They got to make all these structures that require starting times and ending times and class schedules in order to be safe. And, 100 other examples that we could all provide that have absolutely nothing to do with anything that I would actually consider to be real safety. I mean, how does it make your life calmer and better if people show up on time to your class? Why is that so helpful? Does that help you to feed your children? They paid for class just like everybody else. They didn't pay less because they were late.
Listen, that's what I'm saying. They'll take your money for that privilege at the same.
Thank you. Like, how is this hurting you? So it's like this whole enormous illusion of what hurts you even has grown out of this concept of like, you should be safe a little bit more than maybe some other people. So then let's define safe in a way that allows this victimization to continue to be perpetuated. So, we are so far away. I'll take that back. I will own it for myself. I am so far away in time from really having a bodily knowing of what real safety is. I can't remember it. I can't recall it. I have to remember it. It has to be constructed. And I'm just so grateful for all of Aisha's teachings, for spaces like this, because that is what we are doing. I mean, maybe some people show up because they think people will say cool things here, which I point out, we always do. But if you're not here to find some members and figure out how to put them together, you're not doing the work. You're not practicing. You're not practicing. So that's a nice big slap on the face for all my raw rice cake snow Americans. But I'm hitting you because I love you and I want you to join the family. Get in it.
And hit yourself.
Oh, let me tell you, Bren, I will hit myself a million times because I deserve it. Because I deserve what I'm going to learn from taking the hits. Right? So I'm going to bow out before I say something stupid because I will next.
Mm.
Amanda bowing in. My camera is not working. Sorry. Very good thing. Um, I mean, I feel pretty lucky, like, 'cause I found recovery pretty young, and I can say that, like, that's a very authentic place. Like, and that's somewhere you can go and, like, total strangers will give you their numbers and you call them up and tell them, oh, you're really embarrassing shit. And, people will literally come to your house in the middle of the night, take you to the ER, stay with you. I mean, so it's like I'm always talking shit about the 12-step programs, but I realize like how truly like spiritually authentic it is, because like you cannot, when you're an addict, like you can't pretend to be uppity. I don't know. So, I don't know, but I felt very like I don't feel close to the program, and I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't if it's something about like where I am or just the state of the world, because like I've talked before about this recovery group I go to, and it's a small group, and like there's people there that watch Fox News, and I'm like, like it's not supposed to matter in recovery. Politics, like you can't bring up politics 'cause, like you'll go out and die, if you let politics get in the way. But so I've been struggling with it, and it's really like the attachment. I think about the attachment versus authenticity thing, because like somebody will say something, and I'm like, I want to say something, but like I don't. I hate conflict, and I'm like, if you feel like you need people to like help you stay alive, like it's very hard, to, I don't know, it's hard. It's hard. Um, so I feel like, I've found a lot of very authentic communities in my life, and this is one of them. So thank you, thank you for being you, down you.
Wanji bowing in. So good to see everyone. So good that I was able to put this on my radar for this evening. It's like, ooh, Tuesday evening. This is where everybody's going to be hanging out. And yeah, so thanks, Astrid, for reminding me that I wanted to see this movie. I actually sent the link to Aisha a
Yeah.
week or so ago and then forgot about it. As I've been working on figuring so many things out in my life lately. And Aisha, I want to thank you for putting this earworm in my ear. I'll be walking around the house going, I am enough. Oh, I am enough. Hey, I am enough. Yes, I am enough. Mm-hmm. Gratitude.
Thank you. Blessing us with your voice. What a blessing. Yeah. Yeah.
Anji bowing out with gratitude. Ashe, 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 ashe. Yo. Yes.
Yeah. Mhm. I know everybody here is grown, but I will be saying this, and I do say it over and over and over again. We need all the things all the time. As somebody that grew up with, okay, there you go, be satisfied, be okay. Nope. We dealing with centuries on this continent and millennia of foolishness, of delusion. And to move through it, I know I need all the things all the time because I'm in recovery, right? And people in recovery, we can't be playing around. Okay, we can't be, you know. I speak for myself, that that terrible that thing, people look at me, Aisha, don't you know? Yeah, baby, I know. I don't. I got you. They can assume this is not an invitation for bypassing. Okay, just to say that this is an invitation to know that what we're presented with is not all there is. That's taking our nervous systems back. That's happened to me, Astrid. It's happened to Astrid. It's happened. And yeah, and I'm like, yeah, girl. Or if or if she's not ridiculous, I say, look, I'm coming from someplace else. Leave me alone. Because sometimes when you talk to these people, I don't know about Canada, but it's like, look, I'm not the one. Okay, just we're not doing it. We're not doing it. We human, because we're in a trance. She was in a trance, and she's been allowed to be in a trance because believe you me, if you'd have say, come here, let me tell you something. I paid for this class, and I don't need you acting brand new with me. Okay. However you want to do it in your Astrid behavior, but I'm just saying. One of the things that this life as it did to me is that it moved me out of choice. I can go, I can stay. I can, what the children call binary, you know. And I'm saying, let's be non-binary. Just because she got a bathroom at her house, like you got a bathroom at your house. And she just, she hasn't been trained. I mean, that's just an example. That's just an example. She's, it's like, who, where did you learn that that was okay to a paying customer? Because you're not there on scholarship. And even if you were, it don't matter. And that's what this path in my life, it's not, because when somebody is a monster, if somebody's King Kong, then I gotta be Fay Ray, right? You're big and strong and horrible. And one of the gifts of living among the high class whites is that shit is, yeah, I'll take mine over this. Because they get punished. I want to call out. They will have a statue to Malcolm X before they will have one for John Brown. As much as we catch it at the end, it's like being a Black person passing to be white. That's what it looks like. And I'm just saying, I've thought about this behavior over the years because it makes no sense. You know, this is something she enjoys. You should be happy somebody's coming whenever they get there. I've never understood that analysis.
Yeah, she also, I was like, she didn't know what I had to go through to get there. You know what I mean? There was like, no,
Yeah.
that is not a consideration. Yeah.
But see, not to be seen as human.
Yeah.
See that, you know, let's
Only
just,
Black woman in the class, so I was gonna cop
yeah.
all anyway, right?
And it's like you run around and come, I have a Black girl in my class because it's a girl. And, you know, just if you choose to go again, you know, I'd invite the conversation that, you know, don't do that. I'm grown. Don't do that. I paid. Don't do that. Because my grandmother used to say, Bertha Evans, she who must be obeyed. You know, she would be, you know, I get whippings. And she said, baby, I'm doing it because I love you. So somebody else that doesn't love you, don't do it. And in this particular context, what she was saying is, I want to correct you because I don't want those white folks out there to correct you. Okay.
But she's, you
Yeah.
mean the teacher?
No, I'm talking about in terms when I was a little girl.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And what I'm saying is you could be helping her. Compassion is not letting shit go. Because she could get her ass beat, okay? Because you didn't check her. So by checking her, you're helping her not get her ass beat. You know, this is this is me. Okay, this is me. I'm saying this to everybody. But compassion is not this, and I accept what you do. Compassion is, girl, we both grown women up in here, and this grown woman paid. You're helping her if you have the energy and the willingness. But that's one of the things, if folks choose to be rolling with Heartwidth, it's cruel. The Buddha says they follow the brown prints, but then they don't take the basic stuff. You deal with this stuff like your hair is on fire. If your hair is on fire, if I see you, you know, somehow I'm gonna snatch you out the way. The discernment is, am I pulling you to hurt you, or am I trying to get a car not to hit you? A friend of mine told me, and this is something a lot of middle class people and a lot of white people don't understand. A friend of mine was, I don't know, on a bicycle or something, and a Black woman was driving the bus, and she said, "Get out the way." And got in their feelings, realized she was he didn't want him to be hit. And he knew that. And he went, "Oh, yeah, okay." Everything is not an invitation to awfulness of hurting me. The idea of Black people is dangerous is really a barrier for connection. Because it means that I have to move my voice up in here because if I don't do it, you'll think that I'm shouting at you. Because I have literally said good morning to people. Well, not good morning, but smile. And I got, Aisha, not everybody wants to smile. Like I hollered and said everybody got to smile. So I'm all over the place. But the thing I wanted to bring forth is compassion is not this limp thing. It's not Midwest white niceness. You would be doing her a kindness if you have the capacity and the inclination to say, bitch, don't do that. Don't say bitch. That's a bad way to start a conversation. But to say, you know, not how you felt, but that is not acceptable for a paying customer. However you want to do it in your way, that you would be giving her a gift. And that's why I call it the gift of authenticity. Because, and if she was uncomfortable, it's okay for her to be uncomfortable. It just can be comfortable. It's okay. And she can work it out. We have a structure in which racialized as white people have not been given the opportunity to deal with this stuff. And so in 2024, everything's brand new. So this is Heartwidth, y'all. We about that work, we about that love, we about that messiness, because we ain't doing parallel practice. I hope this has been of some benefit. Y'all are an absolute blessing to my life. And yeah, we're doing stuff. Hope to have a website out soon and make it easier to reach us. But those, I often feel with all these thousands and billions of emails, Spirit will lead you where you're supposed to be led. At least that's the experience in my life. And for those that get worried about numbers, Fannie Lou Hamer, a personally bodhisattva of mine, said 3 people is a movement. It's never a whole lot of people about that work. It's never like that. Maybe in 100 years. For those of us who's lived long enough, it wasn't 12 trillion people supporting King. It's never like that. I just think that we are choosing to be courageous together. And that's a big deal. So with that, I will offer a prayer and people can go about their lives. And so may all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be at peace. May all beings be safe from inner and outer harm. And may the courageous journey that got us to this moment support us as we meet each and every moment. Ashe, Amen. Namo Mitsu. All right, and
I just want to ask really quick, Aisha, if you want to throw your email address in that you use for Donna.
oh, okay, thank you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for asking that, Laura.
Okay, so it's so hopefully that says locksforme@gmail.com. That's PayPal. I appreciate this. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Please take good care. Let me know as the Pilates turn. No judgment anyway, but we'll see. Okay. I'm gonna come to Florida. I'm gonna come to Canada one of these days, and I'm going to visit everybody.
It's like, do you have some money to give back to my friend Astrid?
Yes. So let's talk. Yeah.
Thanks, deep, boy. I tell you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
My God.
If you want me to bring my mobility scooter up there and run her over, just let me know.
Thank you. I will. I will. Yeah.
Oh,